leading the way with a weather alert day.
I'm WLWT meteorologist Allison Rogers here with another update on how our thunderstorms are looking, because they are starting to move in closer to the greater Cincinnati area. Reminder, we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 8 o'clock for our northernmost counties. Those thunderstorms now beginning to approach the Dayton area. In fact, Dayton now under a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm that's just north of it, right around the Troy area, bringing in some winds possibly gusting up to about 60 miles per hour. Indications are there that we've got some really strong winds moving through the Indianapolis area right now as well, and all of this is going to be making its way into greater Cincinnati over the next couple of hours. So by the time it starts to roll into Butler County, right around Westchester or Mason, closer to about 3 o'clock or so, that we start to see these thunderstorms moving in, as well as potential for some additional thunderstorms to roll in from the Indianapolis area closer to about 4 o'clock for the Cincinnati metro. Now, I do think this timeline still looks to be closer to about 3 or 4 o'clock for some of our northernmost zones, 3 o'clock before we start to see some thunderstorm activity moving in. But because we have this little bit of development right around Union County, I do still think there is that potential that from now until 3 we could still have some activity starting to roll through. May not necessarily be severe, but I am watching all of these thunderstorms really closely to look for that severe thunderstorm potential. Right now they are bringing in those really strong winds. Still, the potential is there for some hail. In fact, some reports of hail with this line of storms moving through Indy right now. Also reports of some really heavy downpours, possibly even some flooding ongoing for areas of central Indiana. So all of these are threats that we're keeping a close eye on here this afternoon and this evening, as well as that tornado threat. Still looks to be a low end threat for us, but still it is there. Now here's that severe thunderstorm watch that's going to be in effect for a few more hours. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing some of our southern counties closer to the Ohio River get added to the severe thunderstorm watch, but don't let your guard down if you're not under that watch, because these storms look like they're packing a punch and will continue to do so for a few hours. So right now we've got those thunderstorms approaching some of our northernmost counties and I-70, watching as they start to dive closer to the south. 3 o'clock and on, that is when we have the best chance for seeing that severe weather. Winds possibly as strong as about 70 to 80 miles per hour within some of those stronger thunderstorms. That's going to be damaging wind that would bring down some tree limbs or some trees if you've got a weaker tree in your neighborhood, or if your yard is just simply saturated from all the rain that we've had already this summer. Some trees could come down with that. Power outages can't be ruled out as another impact that we feel this afternoon. That heavy rain threat, that could lead to some localized cases of flash flooding. That's something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, as well as if any of these thunderstorms start to rotate, because if they do, that would lend itself to a tornado warning. So we are keeping a close eye on that potential as well. I think this threat starts to fade a little bit closer to 8 or 9 o'clock tonight as this line of storms pushes south. Could be earlier, could be a little bit later. The timeline of this all is still relatively fluid. But as we get into the next couple of days this week, today's an alert day, so that's kind of our top tier. But impact days continue Wednesday through Friday because of additional rain and thunderstorm chances that last off and on throughout the rest of the work week. That's going to bring a flood threat, I think, for a couple more days around here. We have that flood watch that's in effect through tomorrow morning at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if that actually gets extended a little bit longer into the week, depending on how much rain we see tonight as well as tomorrow. So here are those thunderstorms starting to roll their way in here. Again, Futurecast bringing in some of those storms closer to about 4 o'clock for some of our northern zones. With where they are right now in their placement, I do think that timeline could be as early as 3 for some of our northern counties, then closer to about 5. Working their way from about 4 to 5 through the Cincinnati metro into northern Kentucky. Here's an idea of how radar could look by 6:30, give or take an hour or so. Then as we get into the rest of the evening, thunderstorm chances begin to fade a little bit closer to about 8 o'clock, possibly leaves about 9 o'clock. However, we start to see another line of thunderstorms moving back in here by about daybreak tomorrow morning. So there is still going to be that thunderstorm threat early tomorrow morning as well as into the afternoon tomorrow. More thunderstorms and downpours look to be possible. Not as great of a severe weather setup for us tomorrow, But at this point, I can't rule out the chance of an isolated stronger wind gust for your Wednesday, especially in the afternoon. However, I do think the bigger threat is going to be that flooding concern that lingers through Wednesday, possibly even Thursday, just depending on how all this rainfall sets up. Some spots could pick up a significant amount of rainfall today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Just depends on where those heavier downpours set up. Again, for this afternoon, biggest concern is going to be some strong to damaging winds. That flood threat is another big concern of ours as well. And then that low end tornado, low end hail threat, because some of these thunderstorms have already started to produce some hail back out toward Indy. I do think that is something that we could end up seeing kind of unfolding around here, but still that primary concern going to be the potential for some strong winds. We'll have another update coming up in about an hour, but of course you can always keep up to date with us on our WLWT app.